Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your July 2026 horoscope. Right off the bat, the first thing I see here is that you're kind of probably feeling like you're being pulled in a lot of different directions. Like there's always something that requires your attention. There's a lot of people coming in and out of your life, and things are just always seem like really busy a lot of the time. And this sort of Uranus and Mars in the first house in Gemini, it can create like it's almost like a overwhelmed, like it's kind of stressful. There's just too many. You're kind of being forced to remain in sort of the surface level identity, like where the part of you that you use for like first impressions and just talking to people like on that surface sort of level, while at the same time there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the subconscious that you just never really quite have time to look at and address because you're busy. There's just always something grabbing your attention, but you can feel it. You can feel there's some things going on inside of you, maybe some with Saturn's like feelings of being restricted or feeling kind of heavy and tired and kind of just even if it's not a conscious thing, it's just a feeling, and maybe there's just a general sense that there's a lot more to you. There's a lot more going on inside of you than you ever have time to really slow down and look at. And you're maybe feeling like because you're always being pulled in all these different directions and your attention is always being required somewhere or with someone, there's a deeper, more unique, like the part of you that you feel is most that you're makes you unique. Your unique talents, the things that you are especially good at that are uniquely you, or feel like they're being neglected. And there's an underlying urge to want to like slow down and not have to always be dealing with all these surface level things all the time. But it's like the universe is kind of forcing you with the North Node in the 11th house. Social interaction and networking is kind of something that you can't really avoid right now, even if there may be a desire to. But this is all kind of setting you up for later, for when you do finally get a chance to slow down and really start doing a little more introspection and inner work. You'll have a very specific motivation for doing so, or you'll have some idea of what it is that you want to accomplish. You'll know by contrast of what you're going through now what it is you'll need to do when that time comes, if that makes sense. So over the last few years, you've probably gone through a significant shift in your career environment or your public how you're perceived publicly. This may have something to do, like you probably have some kind of partner or someone who's close to you that is influencing this area of your life, whether it's a romantic partner, or just a friend or just a business associate. You're working closely with someone that has a lot of influence over what you do in your career life. I mean, in some cases, I guess this could manifest like maybe you're like a stay-at-home parent and you have kids that are constantly requiring all kinds of attention. It's always kind of a chaotic, and you need to do that because your partner is the one who goes to work. Just as a random example of one way that could kind of show up, whether or not that's you. Let's see here. And this month is Mercury, sorry, I can't speak, will be retrograde through most of this month. And this particular Mercury retrograde, I discuss it in a previous video, the Mercury retrograde video. Go check that out if you want more details on how that dynamic is working. But in general, the idea is these old, like childhood survival mechanisms or survival strategies are being brought to the surface. And since you have Mercury retrograde in Cancer in the fourth house, I would think that maybe when you were young, you were kind of forced to be a caretaker of some kind. You were kind of you kind of were felt responsible for your parents' emotional needs, or maybe even siblings. Like you kind of grew up being the one who kind of was the one to maintain order and take care of people, even if you were too young to really. For it to be fair for you to have to do that, and then that developed into the person that you've become now, and now that persona is starting to kind of you're starting to feel like you might want to outgrow that and let that go and become, explore this other side of yourself that is there, that other people probably know is there too, but it never really gets a chance to come out to the surface. Pallas and Vesta over here, these two asteroids, your own unique talent and a sense of dedication together. You know, um, and with Chiron in the 12th house too, there are wounds associated with this that need to be looked at and addressed, but they're not pretty to look at. This is not a comfortable process, and it may be sort of what's driving some of the kind of chaos, causing some of the things in your life to manifest where your attention is always being called to one thing or another or another or another, and it's never you don't get much time to really just pay attention to yourself. And there may in the near future be a time where you start to feel like maybe not really too soon. Maybe there are some responsibilities you need to take care of, but there at some point I feel that you will start to sort of back off from this kind of caretaker sort of need to be the one to maintain order and take care of everything and everyone, and be like, you know what? You guys need to figure out how to do some of this on your own because I've got stuff I need to work on. None of us are getting any younger, and this old routine that this persona that you have been living with up until this point is not satisfying you anymore. And there may be a time where there may have to be a conscious decision to let some responsibilities go, let some people have to deal with their own thing. But of course, this is a general reading, so I don't want to get too specific and how that might manifest. Um, and with Venus here in the fifth house in Leo, maybe you're some kind of artist, or you have some kind of creative hobby that you feel like you're really good at, and that is also, I mean, with being Leo being involved, is also something that allows you to kind of have more of a social life, like in a less like, what am I trying to say? In a way that's less like about like responsibilities and more about just kind of having fun. Um, with those aspects being made from Venus up there to those two asteroids we discussed, and Saturn. Maybe something, some kind of hobby or skill that you've had for a long time. Maybe you used to work on it a long time ago, but then you got into a situation where it was no longer really practical to be able to focus on those things anymore. And I feel like there's a desire to kind of go back to some more creative sort of just hobbies and things that you do just for fun, just for their own sake, just because they're enjoyable, and maybe because they put you in an environment where you can kind of have some lighter social interaction where things maybe aren't always about having to take care of things or maintain order in this way or another. Let's see here. And another thing here with the sun here in the third house in Cancer, and the main thing I'm looking at here is actually these negative aspects. So you see those red lines and that green line. These are all there's oppositions, squares. I forget what the green one's called, like a quicksunk or something. I can't remember. It's a minor aspect, but either way, there's a sense of like you're really not speaking up about how you feel about any of this. You're not there's a lot of yourself that you are not sharing, and that not sharing of yourself and not communicating these needs and feelings is kind of building up some pressure. And it may have something to do with this Pluto in the 10th house again. I'm not entirely sure how career uh, and public persona sort of comes into all of this. I'm not entirely sure. I can't really think of a lot of examples of how exactly that might play in, but if it's happening to you, then I'm sure you see it. Um, let's see here. There's got to be something. Yeah, I mean, there's just kind of a general sense that maybe there's a reluctance to express the things that you are sort of dissatisfied with right now because you don't want to cause conflict with a particular person. Um, like they won't get it, or they'll feel like now's not the time, or you know they may take it the wrong way when you try to express what you're feeling and what you want to do. They might internalize it or take it the wrong way. But at some point here, I think that there will be a breaking point where you finally decide that, like, I don't care if anyone else doesn't like it. You need to do your own thing and figure your own problems out. And this is not my responsibility, and I'm going to do things my way for a while. But I don't think that's coming quite yet. But I think in some point in the future, there will be a point where this sort of thing may boil over if it is not addressed. The constant the constant attention grabbing from not you grabbing attention, but things grabbing your attention is what I'm saying. Anyways, I think I'm going to stop the video here before I start rambling too much. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. You can order readings through my website, which is down in the description below, as well as a lot of other cool stuff you can check out. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.